I think this is probably one of the hardest, most complex recoveries. Welcome to MERUS Adventure Park in Palo Duro Canyon. My name is Dirk Van Reenen and I'm the founder of MERUS Adventure Park. So earlier this week on Tuesday at around 4 o'clock in the afternoon, the phone rang, and as soon as I answered the phone, one of our guests said, "My Jeep started rolling off and I can't see it anymore." I knew the campsite that it was in, Camp F, is right on the edge of Palo Duro Canyon, which is the second largest canyon in North America. And if the Jeep went down that canyon, it was going to be a bad situation. So I immediately, when he said that, the first thing that came to my mind is like, is everybody okay? And he said yes. He was the only one there, solo camping, nobody's in the vehicle, but he couldn't see the vehicle. So I knew this vehicle was probably several hundred feet down the canyon and completely destroyed.
I'm Pete Knoll. My wife and I are Dirk's partners at MERUS Adventure. And Dirk called me Tuesday and said, we had a Jeep go off the side of the cliff. And I did the same thing Dirk did. Was anybody hurt? Yeah, it's the first time that's happened. And having spent years in the military doing stuff like this, when something like that happens, it's just not going to turn out well.
So there were several concerns here. One is that this is a 2023 4xe Rubicon. That is a hybrid vehicle, so we knew that there's a large ion lithium battery on this vehicle, and one of the big threats with that is if the battery got damaged or started kind of overworking or whatever the case is, it could start a fire. So that was one of our big concerns is, okay, we got to get down to this vehicle, go get it checked out, and make sure that there's nothing going on with the battery. So actually the first day we hiked down to the vehicle, checked everything looked fine. And then the big question was, okay, all the people are fine, the vehicle's fine right now. The big question is, how are we going to get it out of here?
The afternoon before, he and I drove down to the bottom and hiked into where the Jeep was, just to prove that we couldn't drag it out through the canyon. From up top, it looks like it's fairly flat down there, and you get to a creek bed and it's easy. You get down in there and it's 20 and 30 foot ravines, clogged with boulders and bricks. It would have taken us a month to clear a path just to get to it. So first part was just confirming that the only way that thing is coming out is up.
So finally we made the decision on Friday that, okay, we're gonna assemble our team and go after this. So Pete and I had already been kind of really talking about and whiteboarding, if we are going in to do this, how are we going to do this? The big challenge here is that it's not as simple as just hooking up and getting the vehicle out. One of the biggest challenges was how are we going to do the rigging on this, and complex rigging, plus we're working on very unforgiving terrain. Very steep, very loose, very dangerous terrain, and we're working in two teams. Team on top that's doing all the kind of rigging of the vehicles, and then the team at the bottom that's doing the final rigging to the Jeep being pulled out. And there's constantly rock breaking loose, falling down, so it was really a dangerous environment to work in. So we had to do a lot of planning to make sure that we're going to keep everybody safe, because that was our number one priority on this recovery. All right, so this is it. Beautiful, beautiful morning. Early morning, the sun's about to come up. Just leaving the bus and heading to the shop to pick up some final supplies. Got the team that's coming up. We're meeting in like 20 minutes at the office, and this is it. We're gonna get that 4xe today.
We had a plan. And we got everybody here 8 o'clock in the morning or so. And the first thing we did is Dirk talked through what the situation went through, and talked about how the plan should unfold.
Okay, so the original plan, the thought was that if we had 4 vehicles with at least 10,000 pound winches, so that's 40,000 pounds of peak pulling power, and maybe at the bottom, once you get a couple of lines of wraps on the drum, that it could go down with all 4, maybe to about 25,000, something like that. But We figured the vehicle being pulled out was 5,200 pounds and really mired up. Maybe it was going to be about a 10,000 pound pull. So the original plan was to have 4 vehicles up front, have 2 anchor vehicles behind those vehicles, and then a 3rd anchor vehicle behind that. What we soon found out was that was just not enough pulling power and it was not enough anchoring power.
Hey, and then we went out in the parking lot and pulled every bit of recovery gear we had out and laid it out to figure out whether we had enough gear to actually link together to get to the vehicle and pull it up. And fortuitous, because it turns out we didn't have enough. And we learned really quick that the length of the pull consumed recovery gear at a much faster rate than we had planned. We had gone out there and looked at it and said, I think I can get 3 vehicles here and get 2 vehicles here, right? And then wanted to make sure we could anchor those vehicles or something, and you just start counting up the vehicles pretty soon. It's like, I need 8 vehicles out here. And I think we could account for like 6. And at that point, it was Dork's team down below rigging the chassis of the vehicle to different points so that we could pull it, and us rigging all of the straps and shackles and winch lines that we could possibly get and pitch them over the cliff in hopes that it would actually land close enough that Dork and the team could actually get to it and hook it up to the vehicle. And I think it probably took us until noon before we had everything put together and really thought that we were going to be able to start to pull it out.
All right, here we are rigging. This is the part that is going to take the longest. You can see the Jeep is down there. We've probably rigged up to here, maybe 50 yards or so, 150 foot. It's probably maybe about not quite halfway. We think we've got about 400 foot. And John and I are just working on getting everything rigged and get everything tied together, and then they're busy positioning the vehicles up top, but you can see like this is the kind of stuff we're having to deal with. Got a straight drop right there, another drop here, pretty steep. There's John. Got another 2 ledges after that, and the Jeep is down there. This is gonna be a hard pull. Lots of interesting things coming up. The rigging has taken longer than I thought it would. I knew it was going to be challenging, but working in this terrain and making sure we get everything as safe as possible. Little rocks coming down. That's why we're wearing the hard hats today. Look at that. Started moving again. We started making pretty good progress until we got to our first set of ledges. And it was kind of a 2-stage ledge with some really thick, dense rock with undercuts. And the moment that the Jeep started going vertical and the back tires and the axles were getting under that undercut, that 10,000 pounds that we thought was going to be max pulling probably turned into 20,000-30,000 pounds of just resistance. So that's the point where we realized, okay, we're going to need more help.
As we started to pull, we learned that we did not have enough equipment to pull. What we learned was we needed more than one line on the vehicle to pull, and we only had one.
And immediately we started calling additional guides that were actually out in the park guiding other guests. They were starting to kind of wrap up their tours for the day. So we got on the radio and said, hey, bring extra gear, bring extra straps, lines, everything you got.
And we sat there for like probably 2 hours trying to, down below with Dirk's team, trying to break lock loose and trying to lock it. And at the same time, we're re-rigging, trying to get it to move.
All right. So the challenge over here is that this rear passenger tire is getting caught in that undercut and just creating a lot of force right there. That's where all the power is getting caught up. So pulling too hard right there is going to cause our recovery equipment to fail. So we have to dislodge that wheel before we can go up any further.
So we got extra help and we got extra equipment, and probably by 3 o'clock in the afternoon we were able to get a second and then a third attachment point to the Jeep to start pulling it.
All right, we're moving. All right, going. That was a big one right there. All right, keep moving.
All right, so it's 6:30 p.m. We've got 7 vehicles up top pulling. So kind of average out all the winches that are up there. We've got about 70,000 pounds of pulling power. 3 lines. We've got 3 vehicles on line 1, 2 vehicles on line 2, 2 vehicles on line 3, and the Jeep is on the second ledge. All right, go ahead and pull the slack out of it. So this Jeep is pretty much just like dangling behind me. And now we're gonna go up all the way up there still.
All right, keep going, keep going. We broke the rock loose, so we should be good to go. Keep it going. Come on, you bastard, get up there.
All right, looking good. All right, looking good. Keep going. All right, over the second ledge, guys. Should be easy going from here.
And we started getting some extra help and finally got over those 2 ledges right before sundown last night.
You know, it was probably 6 o'clock. Then we were starting to look at watches going, you know, we're gonna run out of daylight at 7:30, 8 o'clock.
But we're getting kind of down to the end of day 1 and we're not where we need to be. I thought we would be done with the job by then. We weren't. So I'm down at the bottom. Of course, we're just communicating through radios. And I really kind of wanted to push to say, hey, since we have everybody here, can we push to get this done? You know, Pete, with these wiser, thinking, said, hey, let's think about this. We decided we're not going to do this in the dark, get anybody hurt. Let's call it a day.
All right, it's 7:30 now, and we just made the call that it's probably not best to keep going. We still have the big ledge up here. Got this ledge right here is probably about a 15-foot ledge. That ledge is probably about a 50-foot ledge. Jeep's still sitting here. We've come a long way today, a long way. But it's disappointing. I thought we'd be done by now. So we're having to kick this in day 2, and we're gonna lose some of the crew, which is always hard because now we've gotta scramble and see who we can get out here tomorrow to help. It's probably gonna take at least 6 vehicles winching to get all the way up there.
So a little back and forth between Dork and I about whether we're going to stop or keep going, and I think, you know, rightfully we stopped, tied everything off, left a couple of vehicles attached to it and anchored so that it didn't move overnight. Send everybody back to get some rest and recoup. And that was actually a good call because we were able to think about it overnight and come back in this morning and come up with a revised plan.
Really glad we did because it ended up being way more work than we thought. I was a little bit disappointed, but it's one of those things, you know, looking back and in that moment, just looking back at everything that we had done on that day, I just felt really accomplished and really proud of our team for the hard work and the commitment. So we decided to call it a day, and we got back at it for day 2.
All right, it's the start of day 2 of the recovery. I am sore, really sore, from being on all of that really steep, loose terrain yesterday and hiking stuff up and down, removing debris, and kind of doing all the rock work with those really heavy pry bar, you know, whatever you call those. This morning I'm driving to the office, I'm just about there, but check this out. The canyon is just gorgeous this morning. There's a kind of a band of fog that came through, and there's still residual fog down in the canyon. It's just spectacular. So it's gonna be a great day, and we're getting that Jeep out today.
Yeah, so on day 2, we actually woke up to, the canyon was beautiful this morning. There was fog rolling in. It was just an exceptionally beautiful morning, no wind. So we got everything set up. We started re-rigging everything, and we kind of brought the ace in the hole in, which is we got our skid loader involved. And so we had 7 vehicles that were pulling at this point, 7 winches. And we got our skid loader with another really big F-250 diesel in front of it.
Oh, there she is. So I'm in position now. We're going to be doing a little bit of re-rigging this morning. Moving some of the lines on the vehicle to stabilize the vehicle on the final climb up. They're busy positioning all the vehicles at the top right now. So I'm going to drop my jacket because it's getting warm, sweating, and start the day.
Yeah, you know, the bottom line with the skid steer out there, we were able to clear better paths. We largely put the vehicles back where they were, but modified a little bit. We cleaned out some brush so that we could push 3 vehicles to one side a little further. And we were able to put 2 further back and then clear space in the middle for the skid steer to pull. And then we spent some time re-rigging the lines. Originally, we were pulling up that cliff, and there were 2 big boulder outcroppings, and all of the lines were between the 2. And we really felt as we were going to pull up, we were going to get lodged right there, and we would never get past it. So we ended up one line at a time, putting slack in and then moving them to the other side of the boulder to get a cleaner pull coming up. It probably took a couple hours, but I think by noon, we were done setting everything up. Everybody had, you know, a great plan, and we were able to start pulling.
All right, we just completed our rigging for second day, started the second day. And here's...
Dan, line 3, are you guys ready?
Let's see what happens here.
Okay, just stand by. We're all going to go at the same time in just a minute.
We got 7 vehicles pulling at the same time up top. So we've got 3 on line 1, 2 on line 2, 2 on line 3. So there's a little bit of coordination that has to happen for all this to go just right. All right.
Okay, everybody's ready. We're gonna go on 1, 3.
This is it. Last ledge. Here we go. Shit. Whoa! Big rock coming down. Jeez. We've got a bet, by the way, if that front passenger door is going to stay on the whole time or not. All right, you're about to get to an undercut. It's going to be a hard pull from here. Dang. All right, hold up.
And we started making it up. The first part of the pull was pretty easy, and then we got lodged right underneath that last ledge.
Now, I was, given how hard it was the day before, I was surprised at how well it went today, until when we got the Jeep lodged against the rock again. And I think we were 8 feet from the top, and the tire lodged, and we snapped a big, heavy strap, which, nylon, which went flat over a couple of the vehicles.
All right, hold up.
Everybody's good up here.
Yeah, everything's good down here.
Line 1 completely broke. Is it still hanging?
It's still hanging. It's secure.
Okay, yeah, line 2 and line 3, they won't let hold back.
All right, check. Yeah, the back axle is in a really bad undercut right now.
We snapped one of our main lines. And this tow strap that's snapped, the one that snapped was probably about a 40,000 pound tow strap, right? So that gives you an idea of the kind of tension that we were working with, trying to get that Jeep up that vertical face with everything getting caught underneath the ledge.
Fortunately, we had enough lines on that thing with 6 other vehicles that nothing moved. And then we went back and dug through the pile of stuff that we had continued to pull lines out as we got closer. So we had a large pile of stuff. We just went back down, and in between the team from below that had come up and our folks, we ended up just re-rigging it. Got a little closer, put a little more power on it, pulled it to one angle, and were able to pop it up over the rim.
Coming slowly but surely. It's gonna probably have a pop in a second. Alright, there we go. Keep going. Yeah, keep going. The back axle's caught right now. Let's see if we can get there. Good, we got one more big rock.
Wow.
Looking good. Keep going. We're almost there. One more rock. There we go. Last big rock. Alright, we're through. We're looking good. Keep going. That's it, guys. We're over the hard part. Well done. Well Well done. All right, she's up, boys. Good job. Boys and girls, good job. All right, let's hold right there. Let's hold. All right, from here we can reset the rigging, and I think we can drag it out with the skid loader.
Finally, it came over the ledge, and the moment that Jeep popped over, it was just like, I think everybody just felt this great sense of accomplishment.
Well, once it was on top, it was really a matter of de-rigging everything. It's still very dangerous. I mean, you want to make sure it's parked, but you have a lot of vehicles in close confines with a lot of rope and a lot of people, and it really was being very deliberate about unhooking things and making sure nothing slides, and at the same time moving vehicles out of the way so that we don't damage anything or hurt anybody, and giving us enough room to bring this skid steer back and hook it back up and start to pull it out. I really thought that we were going to use the skid steer to bring it all the way down, but we were fortunate one of the folks out there with us had a trailer, and we were able to use the skid steer to pick it up and put it on the trailer, which probably saved us 2 hours of dragging something around.
Definitely an amazing experience to work with our team in that capacity. You know, when we started Stage 5 and started teaching others how to drive off-road and how to do vehicle recovery, I was personally really excited for our team to have the opportunity to take on this challenge, to prove to people that, listen, we know what we're doing, we work with complex type rigging, and we can do it safely. I think unless somebody can watch this and say, hey, this and this and this and this, I think this is probably one of the hardest, most complex recoveries that's been done in a while that didn't involve a crane or a helicopter or other really large equipment. You know, we did all of this with trail rated vehicles and finally brought in a skid loader at the end. So nothing really big, large equipment. But this was all about really understanding rigging, really understanding teamwork, understanding communication, and understanding how to kind of work together as a team to get that done. And that's exactly what we teach people in Stage 5 here at MERUS Adventure Park.